Hey, what's up guys, MGH here and welcome back to another episode of my career mode update series where we come around every single week to the new updated database for career mode and take a look at all the players that have been upgraded or downgraded and talk a little bit about why. And this week is absolutely huge. There's some big players in this list. So sit back, relax and let's get into the first player. So up first we have Di Maria. He's signed for Man United at the beginning of the season. And it's a difficult one. I think in the first few months, he had a few moments where we all thought, oh wow, there he is. That is the player we knew from Real Madrid. But really, it's been a pretty disappointing season for him. And he has been downgraded. But not only has he been downgraded by 1 to 85, his potential has been downgraded as well. He will not grow beyond 85 unless obviously you play him and he plays very well and he keeps good form for the whole of your season. But basically, Di Maria has been hit pretty hard. I'm not sure it's fair. I think, you look at players like Özil, who has still never been downgraded, really struggled in his first season, and now this season he's doing considerably better. Not perfect, but better. And I think Di Maria, should he stay at Man United next season, which I think he will, we'll be looking at a completely different player. So I'm not too sure about that one. Let me know in the comments below if you think that's fair or not. Moving on to the next one, we've got Mario Gotze, the winning goal scorer in the World Cup final. Has had a bit of a poor season as well. It's a little bit of an odd one. There's a few people coming out from the journalism world of football saying that he's not good enough to be at Bayern right now. A lot of people think he should have stayed at Dortmund. And actually, I agree with that. I think he should have stayed with Dortmund. But it was a big opportunity for him to go to the biggest club in Germany and win plenty of trophies, which arguably, I guess maybe he could see Dortmund was slipping down. I don't know because I didn't see it come in. But then again, I'm not a pro footballer. But Gotze, I think he could have had a much better season. And unfortunately for him, even though he did well in the World Cup last year, since then he hasn't had a real, starting place in the Bayern team. And I think that's really caused him to suffer. So he's gone down to 85, but his potential is still 90. But again, I'm not too sure about this downgrade, so let me know your thoughts below. Moving on to another German player, we've got Schurrle, who is one of multiple players from Wolfsburg getting an upgrade this week. There is one more in this list which I haven't included, so I'll tell you towards the end. But Schurrle has been downgraded, so he hasn't been upgraded like some of the other players from Wolfsburg this week. He's been downgraded to 80. He's still a left mid, can play at right mid, and has a potential of 83. Hasn't really hit the ground running since joining Wolfsburg, but I'm sure next season we'll be seeing more goals from him because, let's be honest, he is a great player and just having a little bit of a poor run of form maybe. Moving on to one of the quickest players in the game, we've got Obafemi Martins. I remember when this guy was in the Premier League, what an absolute beast. And look at his evolution graph in the bottom right corner. It's absolutely fascinating because you'd normally expect players at the age of 26 to 28, I would say, being in their absolute prime. And it looks as if the evolution graph kind of agrees with that statement, but doesn't really reflect it perfectly because he's now suddenly hit the absolute prime of his career. You see right at the beginning of that evolution graph, he was an 80 overall. He's now 79 after going down to, I think it was 74 at one point in FIFA 14. So he really has hit a purple patch in his career and arguably playing better than ever in the MLS. So well done to Martins. Still one of the best players in the game if you want to, get your sweatbands out. Moving on, we have a CDM that I really hope is coming to the Premier League, especially for Arsenal. I think he would suit our team fantastically. And that is Kondogbia. He's had a fantastic season with Monaco. He is now a 77 overall. He was only 74 rated, I think it was 5 weeks ago. So he's gone up by 3. And his potential is now 83 as well. So definitely one for the future. And just another young French player who looks to be incredibly good so early on in his career. I really like Kondogbia. And I would love it if Wenger signed him up. I think he would be great for Arsenal. But if anyone brings him to the Premier League, I would just love to see him play. He looks so solid. Moving on, we've got Binocs at Bayern Munich. He's gone up to a 77 overall and has a potential of 84. This guy has been improving all season long, and since joining from Valencia, I believe it was, has started to shoot up. And you can see why he was plucked out of that team. Maybe wasn't seen by other managers, But Pep Guardiola, we all know how clever this guy is. Clearly saw something in Bernat and signed him up. And wow, you can't regret a decision like that. He has been absolutely fantastic for them. And obviously can play as a left mid as well, which actually, if I'm honest, guys, when I've played with Bayern Munich on FIFA, I've actually chucked him at left mid, almost like a left wing back, I guess. He works really well there. So I'm sure this isn't the end of it. I think Bernat will eventually reach an 80 rated player during FIFA 16, I think. And he's got a great future ahead of him. I wish the birds would shut up behind me. Go away. Honestly, I'm trying to record it. Anyway, moving on to the next one, we've got Berardi, who is on loan from Juventus at Sampdoria, I believe it is. So, actually, no, it's Sassuolo, isn't it? Sorry. I think that is. I think I can check on Ultra FIFA here. Yeah, Sassuolo. Apologies for that. Well, this is an odd one. If you look at the evolution graph again, this is one of those players that is really hyped up at some points during his career and then has a game or two where you suddenly think, oh, okay, maybe he isn't as good as we first thought. You can see on that, right to the right side of his evolution graph, he's just slumped down recently. He's now a 77 overall with a potential of 83. So he has been upgraded. His overall has gone up, but Berardi is now not expected to be as good as before. It's a little bit of an odd one. I don't know how EA can really judge that. So I'm sure we'll be seeing Berardi on our screens for many years to come because he's only 19 years old and a bright future ahead of him at Juventus. Moving on to an English player, we've got Fabinho Delph, who is in the form of his life right now. And I'm actually scared to say this, but Aston Villa look extremely strong, and a big part of it is him and Benteke, if you ask me. And with Arsenal coming up against them in the FA Cup final soon, I'm really hoping Delph will have a bad game. But so far this season has got many, many good games under his belt and has deserved an upgrade for sure. 76 overall with a potential of 81. I would have liked to see that about 82 maybe. I think he's got more potential than that. But that's just me. And I actually heard Tim Sherwood say something a bit crazy this week. He said he's the best performing midfielder in Europe at the moment. I mean, come on, seriously. We're talking about Fabinho Delph at Aston Villa here. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Well done to Delph. Definitely deserved it. Moving on to another Wolfsburg player. I did say I've mentioned that we've got a few others in there. But Arnold has gone up by 1. He's now a 75 overall with 83 potential. You saw during my Wolfsburg series how good this guy can be in FIFA. And I really, really do like him. He's a great backup option. And if you look at his positions where he plays, CM, CAM, RM and LM. He can play across the whole spectrum of midfield, which I really like about him. Hell, you could probably get away with using him at striker as well. But well done to Arnold, having a good season so far. And at the age of 20, he's 75 overall. Not too bad at all. I'm sure he'll break into the Germany national side soon. Moving on, we've got the second to last player on the list. We've got Mitrovic from Anderlecht. This guy is one of the laziest players in the game, but he's been upgraded now and has an attacking work rate of medium. Hooray! He's no longer a low attacking, low defensive striker. They finally changed his work rates and he'll be definitely more usable. And that little spike at the end of his graph there, 75 overall now, with a potential of 85 at the age of 19. Clearly one of the best young strikers in the world right now. But playing in Belgium, you'd expect him to move to a bigger club at some point in his career. And then we can really see what this guy is made of and how good he can be in the bigger leagues. So that's a really good overall for such a young player in a lower league. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. But by the way, this guy is an absolute beast in the air and he's very, very strong. So definitely worth picking up if you want a new young striker who can play as a target man. Last player, we've got Fabinho from Roma. Now, he's on loan from Rio Ave. I'm not sure what the actual club name is. Let's just see if I can't actually hover over it there and get the name up. But he's from a Brazilian side, I believe, who, of course, are not in FIFA this year. So, unfortunately, if they do not get the Brazilian league into FIFA 16, we may not see this guy next year because he's only on loan. However, I'm pretty sure he will be staying in Europe, whether it's with Monaco or if some team will pick him up. At the age of 20, again, we've got a 75 overall player who can play at right back, he can play at CDM. I've even used him at centre back, which he was absolutely fantastic at because he's nice and tall, 6'2", and the only downside is at centre back is his work rates, his high attacking, medium defensive. But the potential of 84, one of the best players in the game right now. And let me just say this, he was not an 84 potential last week. His potential has gone up by 2 and his overall has gone up by 2. Sorry, his potential has gone up by 3, I believe. I think it was 81 before. So that is an amazing upgrade for Fabinho. The biggest upgrade of the week goes to the young Brazilian and really does look like a very, very good player indeed. I would love to see him stay in Europe. I don't want him to go back to Brazil if we can't have him in the next game, excuse me. But that's it, guys. That is the end of the video. I saw in the last episode that still a lot of people are not sure which website I use. I use ultrafifa.com. No, it's not sponsored. I just absolutely love the website because they get the updates quicker than anyone else, and you can see who has been upgraded and downgraded on their homepage. So it's ultrafifa.com. Massive thanks to them for making such a great website. And I also use sofifa.com as well if you want to check out their website there as well. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Another good week of upgrades, a few downgrades here and there. Hopefully next week we'll have some more crackers in the list. Thanks for the continued support. Career mode will be up tomorrow. I've been major busy today and yesterday with Ellen's birthday. Thank you for all the birthday wishes on Twitter, by the way. But I will see you next week, guys.